Hello and welcome to my latest Penguin book video. So today we're going to be having a look at Penguins from the main series, numbers 201 up to number 300, in our quest to go through the first 1,000 ever main series Penguin books. So that is going to be the subject of today's video. So sit back, relax, and let's get to it. Right then, so here we are with Penguin number 201, The Daring Young Men on the Flying Trapeze. And just to put this one into age context, this is 1939 for the first Penguin edition. On the back they're showing the latest editions in Pelicans for March 39, Penguins for April and May 1939, and basically they've got from 190 up to number 210. Next one we've got is number 202, which is The Escaping Club, A.J. Evans. This one's in a wrapper. This is one of those great books which is a First World War escape story. I absolutely love these, and there's a few of these in this batch of 100. They were published, pretty much at the start of the Second World War, and later on they almost became manuals for actual Second World War prisoner of war captives who sort of hid them in the camps and used them almost for tips and tricks about how to get out. 203 is The Colonel's Daughter. And then 204, sort of in the very light lilac colours, grey steel. H.C. Armstrong's biography, that one. Number 204. 205 is another travel and adventure title, From Red Sea to Blue Nile. And we will see as time goes along, because there has been the outbreak of war, we will start to see the first signs of paper rationing. 206 here. Bit of a beaten up old copy, but that's Frost in May. 207 is a biography of Captain Scott. It's also in a nice dust wrapper. And I think these are clipping into still 1939, but we're almost into the books that started to be published in 1940, and come the end of 1940 into 41 you start to see the first real signs of paper rationing affecting Penguin's output. At the moment they're not as chunky, I would say, as the books from a couple of years earlier, and they're still beautiful products in their own right, but already you can start to sort of feel this ever so slight difference in the page quality of these. This is 208, Bardley's The Magnificent, Raphael Sabatini. This is a nice copy of this one, which is the first crime one in the 200s, number 209, which is number 17. Not actually number 17, I said number 209. J. Jefferson Farjon. Nice copy in a dust wrapper there. A little bit of foxing underneath, but still nice copy of that one. That was 209. And then 210 is Naomi Marsh's A Man Lay Dead. Another one in a wrapper. Good stuff. I love my crime books. 211 is Pip by Ian Hay. And 212 is Literary Lapses, Stephen Leacock. Exactly the same on the back. These are all designed at the same time. Joanna Cannon, High Table, 213. Many Cargoes, W. Jacobs. That's 214. And 215 is Store of Ladies, Lewis Golding. I would imagine some of these have probably got adverts at the back. Yeah, this has got house ads. And there's an ad for 3 nuns tobacco, pipe tobacco. It's got an internal list as well. Bit of a beaten up old copy, that one, but I'm not complaining. And then 216 is Henry Wade's The Verdict of You All. That's the first sort of stack. That was the first of 5 crime ones. So the next one's Gladys Mitchell, Death at the Opera. This is another nice crime one. All of these crime ones, sadly, are proven to be quite expensive these days. And, well, if you ever see any out and about, even reprints are worth picking up. 218, a bit of a thick one. That's Missing from Home. Thick for the period. Well, we got just over 300 pages. Oh, there's an advert for a particularly nice Pelican special that I really love. Robert Gibbings' Blue Angels and Whales. That was 218. 219 is Police at the Funeral. Marjorie Allingham. And 220 was An Oxford Tragedy. J.C. Masterman. That one's also in a wrapper. That one really nice underneath. The wrapper's kept that one nice and clean. So again, a tiny bit of foxing on those, but you have to remember these books are still 80 years old, which is crazy when you think about it. A biography. They made a big bone about it being a new biography of de Valera. That was 221, very dark blue. And this one, Oliver Onions. What sort of a name's that, eh? Widdershins, 222, all the twos. 222. 223 is Two Vagabonds in Serbia and Montenegro. This one's still in print today and is regarded, I think, as a bit of a classic of its sort in the travel genre. 224 is The Camberwell Miracle, J.D. Beresford. Bit of a beaten up old copy of that one as well. It's on the old upgrade list. Compared to this one, which is, really nice. 225, Ebony and Ivory. 226 is Across Lapland, Olive Murray Chapman. A travel title there. And we've got another crime one, The Fleet Hall Inheritance, Richard Caverne. And we've seen his name a few times already, haven't we, in Penguin's output. Let's just check the date of this, see if we are into 1940 yet. Nope, still 1939. Devil at Saxon Hall, Gladys Mitchell. 228. 229, the first of many C.S. Forester novels published by Penguin. This isn't a Hornblower one, but they do end up publishing the whole run later on. I think bar the last couple, which end up going to Pan, but the main run of Hornblower are all published in Penguin, and we will see the first few of those before the first 1,000 are out. But this is one of his earlier non-Hornblower novels, and that's The Gun. One of my favourite authors, C.S. Forester. If you've never read him, they still are an excellent read. William Bolitho, 12 Against the Gods, the biography title there. That's number 230. And the final one on this stack is a bit of a classic, really, All Passion Spent by Vita Sackville West, 231, and it's shown the very tail end issues of 1939. Still 1939. Particularly nice, although not in a wrapper, that's a particularly nice, really robust, clean, bright copy of that particular one. Right, I'm just going to pause there, make a little bit more room, and then we get on to the next ones. Okay then, so this is 232, National Velvet, Enid Bagnall. Now, I'm not really sure of the significance of the drawing of a horse there. Obviously, it ties in with the actual story, but a bit like when they put that little cannon on the cover of The Gun, by C.S. Forrester. It's like Penguin are just dipping their toe into putting a little illustration on the front. I do not think that works in the slightest on this one. It looks awful, in my opinion, but that's number 232. 233 is Those Greenland Days. Martin Lindsay, Travel and Adventure again. 233. Now this is a nice one. 234. This is in the Miscellaneous series, and it's a Book of Lear, the Penguin Book of Lear. Really nice edition, this one, as you can see. Just trying to see who the... Oh, look, this one's got a couple of little reviews in. I wanted to see who the illustrator was, because I can't. They're not credited. But as you can see, that's a particularly nice little copy of a Book of Lear. Very interesting to know that the quality of the cover has changed. So this is, it's hard to describe, but the quality of the paper being used has definitely changed. And this is the first sort of hints that we've got of paper rationing coming in, and Penguin trying to be a bit prudent with their paper allowance. 235 is James Hilton's The Passionate Year. And 236 is The South Seaman. Weston Martyr. That one's still in a traditional dust wrapper. Nice and clean underneath. 237 is Go She Must. Go She Must, David Garnett. A straight fiction. And then 238 is another one under the Miscellaneous series, quite a famous one in fact, by Isaac Walton, The Complete Angler. This one's got some nice wood engravings by Gertrude Hermes, it says. Not many, but there's a few in there, which Penguin certainly liked to produce some of those around this time, didn't it? And that's a particularly nice one there as well. So it's The Complete Angler, still in print today, that one. That's 238. 239 is Stealthy Terror. This sort of says a lot about Penguin crime of this period, by John Ferguson. A lovely little period of this, a really nice run. White Cockatoo, M.G. Eberhardt. This is one I found particularly difficult to get in first edition. Only got a copy recently, because up until then I only had a reprint of it. 241, A Windjammer's Half Deck, Shalimar. He did the naval books. This one is 1940, so this is the first one dated 1940 inside. We've got the start of adverts on the back now. This is for Army Club cigarettes, and you'd find that with more and more people ending up into the services, Penguin started getting more and more adverts. There's the Three Nuns Pipe Tobacco again, and these are really nice. These little like house ads inside. Those are for travel and adventure ones. I said there are sites dedicated to just the travel and adventure books. Cadbury's Born Vita. How sound sleep helps nerves. There you go. So that's 241. A Windjammer's Half Deck. 242. Hindu Holiday. J.R. Ackerley. 243 is The Tavern Knight, Raphael Sabatini again. Then 244, another quite scarce one, Crumpfolk Going Home. This one's got a different advert on the back. This is for Norvik Shoes. They did a lot of advertising in Penguin of this period. Here's the fabled penguin pen. So look, write and tell them with a penguin pen. So this is a penguin fountain pen. Now, none of these have surfaced. It's still like no one's ever... It's amazing, unless the pen itself didn't have any sort of penguin marking on it, but there's no sort of record of the penguin pen except in the adverts. As we go a little bit later on into the war years, you see a picture of penguin pen poking Hitler at the bum. And I'm sure we'll come across that advert later on. This is very nice. On. This is very nice. So another wartime influence. So we've got down there a little air raid warden with the penguin with a tin hat on in a dugout there. Really nice. I mean, it's evocative of the times that these were produced, and by now, you know, we were only 1 year away in Britain from the Blitz, and things were starting to look pretty grim for the UK. 245, the Brontes went to wars. And when you think of what was happening in the world at this time, Penguin kept pumping out the quality literature, didn't they? Barber of Putney, J.B. Morton, that's Beachcomber again. 246. 247 was Adrian Bell's Corduroy. 247. And then 248, still in a wrapper, was Triple Fugue, Osbert Sitwell, very popular author back then. 1940. Start another run here, and a couple of crime ones. So anything crime between basically this number and number 500, you are sort of talking quite big money now. I think these ones here, not maybe, well, we'll get to them in a minute, but I think these ones here, we are talking at least like £30 a pop now for these, which is crazy really, but I guess it's down to demand and availability, and the crime books were notoriously read to death, so that's why they're scarce. Speaking of death, In Ecstasy there, Naomi Marsh, number 249, yeah, real crime mainstay. 250 is Poison in Jest, John Dixon Carr, this one in a wrapper. Obviously any of these in wrappers now are going to be scarce. 251, a real classic, once again still in print today, The Ragged Trousered Philanthropists, Robert Tressel. Absolutely classic book if you've never read this one. It does come highly recommended as one you should, everyone should have had a little read of that one. 252 is Fate Cannot Harm Me. Advert for Jaeger on the back there. There are Jaeger agents all over the country. Well, is that right? One in Torquay, I see. Quite close to where I live. Another Naomi Marsh, Vintage Murder, 253. This one's still in its dust wrapper. There we are. I've read a few of hers, they're actually really good, but Christie is still my favourite. Away from It All, Cedric Belfrage. Okay. What's that inside there? Ah, there we are. Can you write? Well, I've dabbled. 255, Arctic Village, Robert Marshall. Nice robust copy of that one. 256, so Hag's Nook. This one does turn up, actually. We're talking about how scarce the crime books are. This is one of those ones that does actually turn up on most sort of catalogues, so you probably will be able to get that one without too much difficulty. 257, so it's a Battlefield, Graham Greene, another classic, to be honest. Certainly a nice edition of that one, and any fans of Graham Greene would have no doubt read that one. 258 is Wild Oats, really nice travel and adventure book there. Eric Musprat. This one, I mean, that seems absolutely almost brand new, doesn't it? When you think of its age, 1940, 80 years old, and it doesn't look a day old. I mean, that is literally mint, absolutely mint. That one, really nice copy of that. 259 is Captain Albert Ball, biography title, and then 260 is the Penguin Problems book. Now, Penguin did do a lot of problem books, and they did puzzle books and crossword books as well, and they came out during this very sort of scarce period in Penguin's history, so copies are generally quite hard to get hold of, and they weren't the sort of thing that people kept on their shelves for very long, so consequently those particular editions can be quite sought after. This one's got a bit of a folded over dust wrapper there, Marching on Tanga, Francis Brett Young. This is number 261. Pop that one there. 262, Spanish Gold, George A. Birmingham. That was 262. 263 is St. Martin's Summer. Now, one thing I absolutely forgot to say about this one. So this one here, Marching on Tanga, is actually a travel book. It's a travel and adventure title, but it was published by mistake in the orange fiction colours. When it was reprinted, they reprinted it in the correct cerise colours of the travel, but that was just a little mistake that crept in, no doubt in the craziness of wartime. Adrian Bell there, 264, The Cherry Tree. Once again, quite a common little book, that one, to get your hands on. And then 265, Bull de Self, Guy de Massapan. Now, it was around this sort of time that Penguin dropped dust wrappers altogether. They did dust wrapper flaps. So what I'm going to do, we're quite packed again, so I'm going to make a little bit more room, and then we'll just do the last batch. So here's number 256. This is the Dying Older Man, Henry Wade. Another little crime title, still in a wrapper. I love it when they put like the where the action takes place in a book. Just love those. You notice now we've got the more up-to-date Penguin logo as well. The old one very much changed now. 267 is Told by an Idiot, Rose Macaulay. On the back there we just got some of the latest Penguins, so this basically lists everything we've just seen from 241 to 260 on the back there. Number 268 is Jurgen, James Branch Cabell. There's also in a dust wrapper, that one, to keep it tidy underneath. As I said, a lot of these, although I've got the dust wrappers for them, I don't keep them on the books because they're probably so beaten up and worn that the books look great without them on. Canon in Residence, V.L. Whitechurch, 269. 270 is Right Off the Map, C.E. Montague. 271, The English Miss. So this is one which I could use upgrading, but the thing is, when you get to this period, this is quite interesting. So this is the first one we've come across, 271, where it's got what we call dust wrapper flaps. So it gives the impression that there is a dust wrapper on it, but there isn't one. And this is simply because of the paper rationing that's been kicking in. And this is a very clear indication that it really is starting to bite. And, you know, by the next video, when we get into the 400s, the 3 to 400s, you're going to see it like you wouldn't believe. But anyway, that's what they call dust wrapper flaps, and that was the first one of those we've seen, which is 271. So dust wrappers pretty much have completely been dropped now. 272, The Wanderer of 1,000 Hills. This is one of my very poor condition ones, which 273. I did find one recently, a better copy of this, and I forgot to buy it. I was gutted because I found one for a tenner. It was absolutely mint, and I just didn't get the chance to get it in the end. But that's how it goes sometimes. 274. So this is the first one of plays that we've seen in this 100, and it's Oscar Wilde's Importance of Being Earnest and Lady Windermere's Fan. So that's a nice plays one for 274. 275 is The Sea Captain, H.C. Bailey, and the books generally are getting a lot thinner now, and they're getting lighter because the paper being used is just not so good. Thin little crime one now, 276, which is The Case of the Late Pig. Once again, this will turn up. You can find these, but this one's got no dust wrapper flaps. It's got the little sticker on there if you wanted to put it into the reading case there. I wonder if they chose this one because paper rationing was tight. It's only 127 pages. Maybe they chose that one because it was so short. I don't know. A lilac one again, 277, a biography. Fragments from My Diary, Maxim Gorky. 278, Silver Lay, Adrian Bell. This one is in a dust wrapper, and although we've seen some with dust wrapper flaps, the thing is we're viewing these numerically, and although it's close to publication order, it's not exactly publication order, and that's why we're seeing some much thinner than others. It just depends when they were actually printed. 279, another one which isn't massively difficult to get as a crime title, Sheridan Le Fanu's Uncle Silas, which this is a great little book there. Once again, let the adverts are coming in. A really nice one from Cadbury's there. If it's chocolate, then it's food. Milk chocolate, feeds you on your feet. Well, who am I to argue, eh? Just the one advert there by the look of it on the back. 1940. Next is a yellow one for number 280, and this is the first of what will be many Penguin crossword puzzle books. All of them are scarce, particularly when you consider their age, and trying to find them untouched is even harder to do. Most of mine in fact, when you find them, it's usually the first couple of puzzles that have been done, and then whoever's had it's given up. If I've had any and they've had puzzles done, I've always left them. I haven't been bothered to actually rub them out. This one does actually appear to be untouched, so that's quite nice. There's a little advert for another particularly good series that I love, which is the King Penguins. Now, I've almost got a set of King Penguins, almost, and as soon as I've got the set, there will be a 2-part video coming on those beautiful Penguin hardbacks because they're just gorgeous. I'm almost there. Another one, 281, Within Four Walls, an absolutely fantastic First World War escape storybook that I can heartily recommend. I love this one, and I've read it a couple of times. Really, really good book. And once again, it was one of the few that they did at this period. Silence of Colonel Bramble, 282, straightforward fiction there. Once again, quite a thin little tome, just over 100 pages, that one. 283 is the first 100,000. Well, we're only doing the first 1,000, actually, Ian Hay. And that's that one. Now we're on to our last stack, so that the end is nigh. We've got At the Blue Gates, Richard Caverne, 284. A little bit of foxing on that one, but you know, with these crime, I'm just happy to have it. This is the last crime one we're going to be looking at in the first 300. Well, between 200 and 300. This is Public School Murder. I found this one at a jumble sale, I seem to remember, and I was rather delighted to see that it was a first edition from 1940. They did used to be out there back in the day. Another fantastic First World War escape story. Tunnelers of Holzminden. Quite a quick read, but fantastic if that's what you're into. Followed by this one, another First World War escape story, which is Cage Birds. So that's the 4 I believe that they did, that they published in this period, and they were all, a lot of these were rebound as Forces Book Club editions and also as Prisoner of War editions, which will be the subject of a later video. 288 is a biography of Lawrence of Arabia. And then 289 is I Found No Peace, Webb Miller. 290, Russian Road to India by Kabul and Samarkand. Rosita Forbes, a travel book there. Quest for Corvo, A.J.A. Simmons, 291. Another plays. This is Anton Chekhov's 3 plays. I wonder if it lists. Yeah, so Cherry Orchard, Seagull, and The Wood Demon. They are the 3 plays in question. 293, Stella Gibbons, Nightingale Wood. And by this time, believe me, the books are getting really, really fragile. My copies are often ones which I've just been glad to get one to fill a gap. So you will start to see lesser grade copies going forward, simply because they're just harder to get nice ones of. That's 293. 294 is Siamese White, Maurice Collis. 294. 295 is The Times crossword puzzle book, another scarce book. This one. This has got dust wrapper flaps. That one's actually been clipped. This one's not in. It seems nice and bright, doesn't it? So it's nice nick. I don't know if any have been attempted. No, that seems a really nice copy of that. 295. Another really nice book, this one, which is the Natural History of Selborne. You can't help thinking that, why didn't they do this as a Pelican? I honestly don't know. The Penguin Books is in a different font. You'll notice down the bottom. Real oddity, this one, and it is published as a miscellaneous title. But it just, to me, would have been more appropriate to have published this as a Pelican book. But no doubt they had their reasons. I don't know what those reasons were. But that's 296. 297. I think this is my all-time favourite George Orwell. I've read everything he ever wrote, pretty much, and of the standalone books that he published, this is my favourite one. If you've never read it, I heartily recommend it. You can see it's super thin, but this is where he posed as a down and out in Paris, first of all, and then came back to London and did the same. His experiences when he's in Paris on a minimal wage, taking a job as what they call a le plongeur, which was like a pot washer basically in a hotel. That existence day to day it's just unforgettable. It's fantastic, and all I can say is I recommend it. If you've never read any Orwell, forget 1984, forget Animal Farm, give that one a read because it's brilliant. 298, Juju and Justice in Nigeria, another scarce travel adventure book, very, very scarce. 299, Life of Mary Kingsley, Stephen Gwynn. And then the last one, once again, the anniversary, number 300, given to Bernard Shaw, big friend of Alan Lane, the publisher, for his play of Pygmalion, which ended the first 300. Very nice there for the forces. So leave this book at a post office when you've read it, so that men and women in the services may enjoy it too. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really nice. And we are now into 1941, so the year of the Battle of Britain, and Britain very much under siege, and Penguin's publishing will reflect that as we go along into the next 100 Penguins. So I do hope you have enjoyed this particular video. There's some fantastic and fascinating books in there. If you have enjoyed the video, do please give it a thumbs up. Do consider subscribing for regular vintage paperback and vintage penguin content. There's already loads on my channel. I've got loads more planned right through the next few months. Do please hit that subscribe button if you want to watch some more of those. Thank you for watching today, and I shall look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.